that's kind of happy music, but I'm looking at the state of Illinois. Sorry, I see a windswept, destructed place that used to be green and fertile, and now looks like Madagascar. There's an evil dragon under a rock someplace, controlling everything. And with the state of hundreds of billions of dollars in debt, no jobs except the ones I guess we're buying with our tax money from Amazon. For Amazon, the situation doesn't look good. And in the studio with us, Bruce Rauner and his wife Diane, doing their first interview with us before the end of the campaign.
It's terrific to be here, John. Very exciting. One of the biggest elections in Illinois history, and we got to knock these rascals out of office. I tell you, we're going down the drain, and we can't stay on the track we're on. Pat Quinn's only answer to any problem is more taxes. That ain't the answer. We got to clean up Springfield and rip that corruption out of there and get the government lean and efficient and get pro-business again. Yes, he's clueless on how to grow our economy, and we're excited. We're going to win this race.
You know, Bruce, behind every great man is a great woman, and that's why Diane is
in front sometimes too.
And
telling you what's going on.
And I want to know, because I like to know the behind the scenes, Diana. When Bruce first said, "I want to run for governor," what did you say to him?
I said no. I said no for a long time, actually, and the kids said no. And it wasn't until the kids decided we're old enough that we thought we could take this on, because it's nasty. And we told them, don't read the blogs, don't read the comments. Anybody who has time to write a comment, don't read the comment. Anybody who has time to write a comment is you should not listen to it. But it's hard for kids, you know. Yeah. So we waited for our kids to be a little older, and now. And even then, I was like, well, do we really have to do this? But now I'm so proud of him. You know, he's walking through fire every day, and he's doing it on behalf of the kids and the families of Illinois, and that's a noble mission. It's absolutely awesome to be part of it, and I couldn't be prouder of him.
When did it happen in this state that being successful was a sin? When did that, the level of, both men they're, you know, obviously they both want to win. No one's perfect. Each one has their flaws. But I've never seen a negative campaign quite like this, where if you're successful, you're also evil. When did that?
Well, I think, you know, the sad thing there is, you know, it's one thing if you've got somebody who's really out of touch. But if you think about the work that Bruce and I have been doing for decades on inner city schools, on early childhood education, on veteran support, this isn't a guy who's been kind of living in the mansion and not thinking about the other little people. We're both middle-class kids. We both worked really hard and had great educations, and we know the education is what allowed us to be successful, plus hard work. So I think it's really sad. It sends a terrible message to young people that working hard and trying to do well is somehow suspect.
You know, I believe, as the Bible says, to whom much has been given, from whom much is expected in return. I've been very blessed in life. Didn't inherit any money, but I had two loving parents, and I had access to a decent education. And I worked my fanny off and did good, working for teachers in Illinois and state police officers in Illinois, investing their pension money. Made a better retirement for them, did a terrific job. I'm proud of it. And then with the money we made, we told all 6 of our kids, they're not going to get a big inheritance, because we're going to be giving it away and funding schools and teacher training and veteran support services and the YMCA and the Red Cross. And this is my chance to give back as governor, because I love Illinois. This is home. I get really feisty when it comes to home. I want to protect our home. Our home's going down the drain with these rascals in Springfield. And I'm not going to take a salary or pension as governor. I'm just going to go down there and live in the mansion and shake up the system. And I can stand up to the special interest groups. That's one of the reasons I decided to run. I can't be bought, bribed, or intimidated. No special interest group down there scares me one iota.
What about Mike Madigan?
You know what? He's never dealt with anybody like me. Yeah, I don't need any favors. I don't need any patronage system. I don't need a job. I don't need money from anybody. He's never dealt with somebody like me.
Will you be able to cut a deal after railing against Madigan in the early part of the? Because I remember when you formally started, because I wrote about it. And then you know, campaigns shift as they change focus. Now, if you win, will you be able to deal with this guy?
Oh, no question. You know, I'm getting to know every member of the General Assembly on a personal basis. I know all the Republicans. I've gotten to know almost half the Democrats, and in the next few months I'll know them all personally. I'll tell you this, I'm not going to ascribe names because they asked to, you know, said their comments off the record, but many Democrats in the General Assembly said, Bruce, we are excited. We need a leader in Springfield because we don't have one. We need somebody who will take the arrows, because we don't take the arrows in the General Assembly. And if you'll take the arrows and take the heat from the special interest groups, we'll take some tough votes to get you 3/4 of the way to where you want to go. Because we know they know that, you know, they're not dummies there by and large. They know that we need change. They know we need changes to make the government more efficient. They know we got to keep the tax burden reasonable, or we're dead as a state. So I'll work with the Democrats down there. I've had many members of the Black Caucus say to me, Bruce, we like your agenda. We're going to be with you. I've had many members of the Latino Caucus, the Downstate Caucus. We're going to build some coalitions and get some major legislation done.
What is the strategy for the two of you the next few days as this winds down? I know I was looking at the latest polls, and I know we can debate whether the polls are right or wrong, but I concentrate on the female vote because I know what resonates with me, and we've talked about this before, Bruce, is, you know, jobs and, you know, rolling back taxes and, you know, economic opportunity, and I think that's resonating more among women. Is that a concentration point in the next few days for the two of you?
Sure. Well, absolutely. Women are small business owners and taxpayers and homeowners, and they have the same economic concerns as everyone. I think that, you know, people try to put social issues into this race, and the good news is this time that's not the issue. The issues are economic. It's the fiscal condition of our state. It's how are we going to create a future for our kids, so all of our kids can come back and prosper, and we can be surrounded by our grandchildren in our old age. Isn't that what we all want?
Our grandchildren will be moving out of the state soon.
Well, that's what we want to prevent that from happening.
I have a question for Bruce on the campaign. Any regrets, and by that I mean the way the campaign handled the McKinney situation with the Sun-Times. The guy that I've known for quite some time, pretty much of a straight shooter, ends up resigning at the Sun-Times. I wonder what you think of that. Any regrets there?
No, well, I don't really know that much about this situation. I personally not involved and absolutely have no interest in getting in the middle of it. It sounds like an issue internally at the Sun-Times newspaper. My understanding is our staff raised objections to the facts and the basis for a particular news story with the reporters involved and with the editors before the story ran. They do that all the time with every news outlet if they disagree with a particular set of facts or a story. But you know what? Beyond that, I can't really comment. I don't really know.
I remember Rich Daley tried to close Wrigley Field once, saying it was tough, and I wondered, you know, why would he try to close Wrigley Field, saying it was unsafe? But I figured it out. But you, if you're governor, what is your relationship going to be with, do you think, with the media after this?
Well, I hope it's very good. I want to get our message out. You know, we need to be big change. We need to restructure the government. There's going to be a lot of difficult decisions that need to get made. And we've been working our fannies off in this campaign, and it's been very hard. But you know what? The really hard work starts November 5th. There is so much to be done. We're the worst run state in America. And I'm going to need a good communication with the people of the state, because I need to be talking with them every few days about what's really going on. Because the voters don't, you know, Pat Quinn is a disaster, and the problems are much worse than the politicians have let on. And I'm going to need a good communication channel and be very open with the media, meeting with all the media outlets on a regular basis to make sure everyone understands what's truly going on, the decisions we have to make, and the tough trade-offs that we're going to do.
I know you all mentioned before you came in that all your kids are going to be together for the first time in a long time, and I imagine there's been a lot of mudslinging, a lot of negativity, and that's tough to go through for anybody. What it's going to be like for all of you to be together again and talking about this?
Well, it's very exciting. You know, the campaign is really hard on family, because the mudslinging and the hostility and the negative stuff, all these false attacks, it's hard. I'm amazed. It hasn't really bothered me at all. I got alligator skin, and I'm on a mission, and I know what I've done and I haven't done, and I'm proud of my record. I ain't perfect. I don't know maybe who is, but I'm proud of what I've done, and I know what I can do as governor, and I'm going to kick some tails and do some great stuff for the people of Illinois. But, you know, for the kids, they're, you know, one of our youngest sons said, Dad, they said you're going to wake up with a horse head in your bed. I mean, you know, for them,
I thought that was me. Not you.
Well, you know, we've told our kids that there are things that are worth sacrificing in life for, and we think the state of Illinois and saving the state is worth sacrificing for. It's worth going through this, and I think that's a really important message to anybody, that putting yourself out there and trying to make a difference, even if people, you know, what is it Eleanor Roosevelt said? If you're doing the right thing, they're going to hate you anyway. So. And
you know what Nancy Reagan said? Just say no. So when they come for you know, budget increases, I anticipate that's what you'll say if you're elected.
We're gonna have to say no to a lot of things.
And so it'll be even worse. In a way, it's going to be if you do what you say you want to do and set out what you actually want to do rather than just win, but actually make some changes. Whatever we've seen now, it'll be even stronger in the days to come.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true.
That's one of the things our youngest daughter said. She said, "Why does Daddy want this job? If he does it right, everyone's going to hate him. He'll win the election. 50% of people hate him, and everybody will hate him."
You know what? That is the primary reason I'm running. Because to me, I don't think that career politicians can ever really fix our problems because they're so entrenched, they're so rough, and the special interest groups that like the status quo are so strong that we're not going to really get back on a different trajectory unless somebody really takes the arrows. And I'm going to be extremely unpopular for a while. I think after a few years and the changes settle in and we become a growth state again, we're getting value for our taxes and we have outstanding schools in every district, which is what I'm on a mission to do. I think people will look back and say, wow, that was worth it. I used to be cranky at that guy, but look at the result. But boy, for a while, I am not going to be Mr. Popularity. And I'm going to take a long-term view in this whole effort. I'm looking, 5 and 10 years out, not next year's budget. Everybody wants to talk about next year. That's what the politicians do. They band-aid together some short-term solution. They don't fix the long-term structural problem, and that's how we've gotten into this massive hole. I'm going to take the long-term view. I'm going to be very unpopular for about 2 years. After that, I think we're going to be kicking some tails, and Illinois is going to be thriving. We'll be the strongest state in the Midwest, one of the most powerhouse states in America. We'll be a proud state again.
Well, I think one thing that a number of our listeners have been